Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. It is Sat Chat time. I have no notes. I'm flying in here unprepared, and I've got a live stream to do in about an hour. I gotta check in. I gotta check in with the team at Michael's in Derwent in about an hour. So yeah, it's what have I done this week? It's been weird. I don't even know. Every week I feel like it's like, wow, where did the week go? But I've been working on a bunch of different projects. This actually will be next month's project for Michael's in Derwent, and I'll put a link in the video description if you want to sign up. It's free. It's a free class. Sadly, it's only open, the live class is only open to residents of the United States and Canada. I think that's because where Michael's stores are located. And for some reason, their website no longer allows people to sign up from other places, but you can catch a replay afterwards. And I think that's on November 17th, but I thought that'd be a really cute Christmas card or Christmas decoration or something. And if you want to paint that, or you paint any of my Christmas tutorials, I mean, I've got a class, it's all like Christmas projects. You can always have it like photocopy, printed onto on greeting cards if you don't want to like hand paint a bunch of greeting cards. I don't have a problem with that. But anyways, I thought that would be really fun. I did that for one of the Inktober prompts. It was it sparkle or shiny or golden? It was golden. Yeah, sparkle's coming up. We got sparkle coming up. I'm gonna have to think of something good for that because I love to paint sparkly things. And I just thought I'd put it there so I reminded you that that was open for signing up. And if you wouldn't mind, if you've taken my classes before, if you wouldn't mind leaving a review on the Michael's website for my class, that would be really helpful. It just lets other people know what they're in for with my classes. And yeah, hopefully you liked the past ones. Well, I guess you wouldn't be signing up for another one if you didn't like the other ones, but yeah, it's an hour-long class and it'll be fun. And the one we're doing today, which actually will be yesterday by the time you're watching this, but a replay will be up on Monday on Michael's. Their YouTube channel rather. We're going to be doing these garlics. So I got my supplies all out. I need to clean off my table because I've been working on a bunch of different projects and I just finished up these. I don't know if I should show you. They're a present for my sister. I don't think she watches Sat Chat, but they actually came out pretty good. Maybe I won't show you because you'll just have to wait for the video. Her birthday is next week, so I'm not going to show you, but they actually came out pretty good. Which I was surprised because it wasn't looking good for a while. I was like, oh, it's a project involving resin and like nothing I have is level. And it's like, if I had to do it again, you know how you're always really good at your projects the second time around? Or it's like, you've just done some big like DIY home project and you only need to do it once and you're like, man, if I had to do that again, it would be perfect. But you're not doing it again. Yeah, that's kind of like how it is. But you know, then again, also I was filming the projects, I was filming the steps, and to do a project perfectly, oftentimes the perfect location to do something is not where my camera is set up. So there's that. But anyway, there'll be a tutorial. There'll be a tutorial with if I had to do it again advice, so you will do it right the first time. I got this sweater on. It's definitely sweater weather. Sweater weather. I'm cringing that I just said that. But yeah, it's definitely chilly. My husband was leaving for work today and he had shorts on. I'm like, hon, it is 45 degrees outside right now. And I am not a cold weather person. I'm very spleening in the cold. So it's like, I mean, jeans, wool socks, sweater, tank top. This is one of my hobo finds, that I found in the Goodwill bag my daughter were cleaning. I think this was Maisie's, but I'm like, this is so cute. Abercrombie and Fitch. I feel so fashionable. Abercrombie and Fitch sweater. I've never set foot in that store. That store is very, it's very intimidating, and then definitely if there was like some sort of like bouncer at the door, they'd be like, ma'am, no, you're too old for this store. You need to be 24 and under to come to the store. But I like it. It's nice and comfortable, and I think it might be cotton. I know they say like you should wear either wool or like synthetic fabrics to stay warmer in the winter, but I do not like the feeling of synthetic fibers that much. I'd much rather have cotton. I don't know, it just feels icky, you know, like especially right up against my skin, and where this is kind of like a crocheted type material. I have a tank top on, but it's right against my arms. It's very comfortable. I think it's cotton. And actually, I don't know, it's very stretchy, but I think that's the stitch. It's actually, I don't know if it is crochet. It's probably not crochet because machines can't crochet. The cuffs are definitely knit. I don't know, but I like it. It's cute. It's fun, and it was free because I totally scrounged it out of the girls' Goodwill bag. I I really hate clothing shopping so much with a passion. I only go when I'm like, when it's like desperate. I don't own anything without any paint on it. It's like, okay, I need to go get some actual clothes to wear in public because everything I have has been trashed with, you know, glitter and resin and paint and stuff. And then I will go to the store and then I will spend all day and I will try on 45 things to buy 3 things because I hate returning things. If there's one thing I hate more than shopping, it's returning stuff to the store. So yeah, definitely don't have to worry about being tempted by fast fashion or anything because I'm not ordering anything online because I need to try it on. I need to make sure it fits so I don't have to return it because that's awful. That would be the purgatory. That would be the stages of hell. It would be shopping, returning things after shopping, and taking children shopping. Those would be like that would be my punishment for all my ills that I've committed through my life. My purgatory is standing in line at Kohl's or something. I don't know. Yeah, I am an on-demand shopper for clothing. Sadly, not for art supplies. For art supplies, I know what's out there. It's like I feel like I can very easily purchase art supplies online. Sadly, I was really good this week. It was they had those Prime days, and so I always look when they have those sales. I always look to find stuff that I like, that I recommend. I see if anything that is good is on sale and see if there's anything like high-end name brand, light fast, you know, the high quality stuff that never seems to go on sale. I try to go and hunt down those deals for people and I post a big wrap-up list and then people will share the deals that they've found for me to add to the big, you know, the big list of everything. And oftentimes I'm tempted, and on just like random days people will email like, did you see the price of this, you know? And then sometimes I'm tempted. I'm like, oh boy, I'm running low. I gotta stock. I shouldn't stock up because I have so much, but yeah, it's very tempting. It's very tempting. It's kind of like having an addiction, but then you're the one like, I don't know. It'd be like having an alcohol addiction and then working at like a liquor store. I think is like, I cannot, you know, it's very hard to resist. But I did resist any of the deals on Prime Day. There was one thing I was hoping would go on sale, and I've been waiting to order. It's something that I haven't had any requests to review it yet, but I'm just personally so interested in this set of watercolors. It's I think that the brand's called It's a weird name. It's just, they don't have any other products. It's the weirdest thing. It's like they kind of popped up on Amazon. It's this wooden box, and I'm such a sucker for packaging. It's this wooden box with like a metal insert with 48. My hands are casting a shadow on my face because my light is right over there. Anyway, it's 24 watercolors in a metal like insert that plops into this wooden case, and then there's a palette, a mixing palette, like a 6-well mixing palette in the top, but it's plastic, not even ceramic. And it's just cute. It's cute and it looks like it'd be really high quality. Something about it just kind of, I don't know what it is. I don't know what, because like usually a new set of paints comes out and it's clearly private labeled by Superior or Mungio or Phoenix or any myriad of, you know, like whoever the Jerry Q, Hobby Lobby, larger doodle hog sets use. I mean, there's about like, it seems like there's like 5 different popular private label brands out there, and I've tried those. But this brand, I don't know who's doing it. And it's driving me crazy because I'm looking at these pans, I'm like, they do not look like, they're not extruded pans, they're hand-poured pans. Who's doing hand-poured pans out there and private labeling? Is this company actually making paint and putting it out there and that's all they make in this 24 colors? It just doesn't, like, usually if something pops out of nowhere, usually a company doesn't come out on Amazon with a product that they've made themselves. It's usually white labeled, and it's driving me nuts because I don't know where it's from. It's kind of like how the Altenew paint was driving me nuts because I couldn't figure out who was private labeling that for them. And I know it's going to be private labeled because they're a USA and I think UK based company, and this is made in China, so it's like, who's making it? It's driving me nuts. I just, like a dog with a bone, I want to know where everything's coming from. So that's like, so tempted to buy that. And I probably will. Actually, like, had hit the purchase button on Amazon yesterday, but then I backed out of it. I don't know why. I was just like, you don't have time to review it before you go on vacation. You don't have time to do that. I'm leaving on vacation on the 25th for a week, and I know I won't have time to get it in and review it. But I was hoping it would go on sale for Prime Day. I don't know why. It's like, what does it matter? It would be like $3 off or something, but oh, you know, I don't know. I'm just so obsessive. I have an obsessive personality, I think. So anyway, I did not buy those paints. I didn't buy anything. Oh, I did get these. Did I tell you last week? I bought some. Yeah, I showed you. Remember the posters I showed you last week that we bought in Belfast, the Cavallini & Co. Christmas prints. There was like the shiny bright ornament box. It's so cute. There was like a vintage postcard, and there was like a vintage village. Very, very 50s, 60s kitsch type. I love that. I love that kitsch. I love that color scheme. It's just kind of like muted primary. Just love it. And then I was looking for frames, and I was going to get the gallery frames that I always get at Blick or Jerry's, but they have really gone up in price. And these are posters, friends. Actually, it's posters / gift. I've seen it sold as gift wrap or posters. So it's like, I'm not going to spend hundreds of dollars to frame a gift wrap. I just can't do it. So before I placed that order, I'm like, let me just see what's on Amazon. And they had a 3-pack of the right size. It was like, the posters were like 19 and like 3/4 by 27 and 3/4. It was like it was a weird size. So I'm like, okay, 20 by 24 or 20 by 28, whatever it was. I think 20 by 28 is what I needed. And these posters, I found a 3-pack of that size on Amazon for the price of one frame over at Jerry's, and Blick was more expensive. And so I'm like, well, you know what? I'm just going to get it because I want to frame them, and I'm going to leave them in the frames. I'm going to put them back up in the attic when I'm not using them. And they were surprisingly, they were poster frames. They weren't anything fancy, but they looked great. The quality was really nice, and they fit the Cavallini & Co. prints perfectly. So, and I love those prints, and I'm thinking there's a color wheel one that I really love that would look great in here if I had any space to hang it up, which, I mean, I could move things around. They have so many, they have like mushrooms and crystals, and I just love that vintage botanical and like 50s, 60s print. I mean, if they did wallpaper, I would just wallpaper something with it because it's just so gorgeous. So anyway, those frames were perfect for the prints. And then I found the prints. You could buy the prints online too. So right on Amazon. You have to pay shipping. So I think they're coming right from Cavallini & Co. I don't know. They're gorgeous prints. You can find them in bookstores and art supply stores often. Blick has some of the Cavallini, but not the big posters. They have like the pencil pouches, and probably because posters are a pain in the butt to mail. I'm sure that's why they're shipping. But if you can find them in store, that's the way to go, because then you can look at them. But the print quality is great. I can't imagine anyone uses them as gift wrap because they're so pretty. Anyway, I will link those up in case you were looking for, in case you bought some of those prints and you're looking for a frame to fit. And the other thing was, I was pretty sure I might have to cut a little mat or something if I bought the ones from Jerry's and Blick. These are perfect. You center them up on the plexiglass, and the edges that you push together, because there's like 4 edges. If you've ever done poster frames, you probably know what I'm talking about. It covers up the gap perfectly, so you don't even need to do a mat or anything. And so I got that done yesterday. I got those all framed yesterday because I wanted to open up the box and make sure there was no damage and get them framed, so if I did need to return something, then I could. Perfectly packaged. They had photo bumpers and stuff, bumpers for the frames. They came really compactly packaged too. And I'm like, well, I'm going to keep this box, and I'm just going to, so I framed them all up, and I put them back in the box with little corner bumpers, and I just wrote Christmas prints on them so I won't forget what's in them, and I can find them in a month when I'm ready to decorate for Christmas. Well, after Thanksgiving. And yeah, perfect. I love it when something like that works out. And so then I was telling Jason that I was going to frame those. He goes, do you remember that print I bought last year, the Halloween one? And I was like, yeah. He goes, I'm like, and I put it someplace safe where it wouldn't get damaged. And then I was like, where in the heck did I put it? And I'm like, okay, I probably put it with my artwork. And I'm like, is it in my office, in my armoire? Because it's not that big of a print. It's like, I framed it up to a 16 by 20. So it was smaller than that. I think it was like a 12 by 16 maybe. And I thought, and I looked in my armoire, and I'm always pulling stuff out of there because I always like will need something to scan, or I'm looking for artwork in there for some reason. Like I'm gonna do a review on some paper. I've got something where I want to show an example, and I'm usually getting the artwork out of there because it's my most current artwork, and it's also small enough to fit in that armoire. The exceptions would be pastels. I have pastels in a portfolio by themselves, and then I have just random old portfolios of work. And let me tell you, what a humbling experience it was to look through all these old portfolios of work trying to find the darn print that my husband bought. I was looking through, and I looked through I'm like, maybe I put it in the pastel. I can't imagine I would put it in with my pastels because I keep the pastels segregated so the dust doesn't cling to anything else. And I was pretty sure I had it bagged in something, like in a cello bag, and I wouldn't want a cello bag near my pastel work because it just attracts the dust particles. And so I went through that. It wasn't in there. I went through all my portfolios of my old work that, man, when I did that work, I thought I was so good. You know, I'm like, oh, this art is so good. I'm going to frame it all. And like, I had somehow saved it because I did a big burn of artwork I hated a couple of years ago. And I cannot believe that those made the cut of artwork I didn't hate, because I was looking through some of this older stuff and I'm like, oh man, that's not good. That's not good. Why did I keep that? Oh, so that was a humbling experience. But then I came back, okay, it wasn't in any of those portfolios. I probably have about 7 of those, like, you know, portfolios, like a big, like, canvas or cardboard or leather, just like humongous, like bigger than a sheet of imperial watercolor paper, like zipper up type envelope, basically. You could put hundreds of paintings in. And so I went through all of them and I could not find it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I do with it? I'm sure I wouldn't have put it up in the attic with all the other stuff because it wouldn't have been a nice flat place to keep it safe. And so I went back to the armoire and I had tucked it underneath one of the largest paintings I have in my armoire. It was underneath there. So I pulled it out. I'm like, okay, great. And then I went and I found a frame that I had that I never used, that I bought in bulk, because I used to buy frames. Like, now I only buy frames when I have an absolute purpose for a frame. Like, that's how I buy fabric. I don't buy fabric unless I have an absolute project for the fabric. Same with yarn. I've just learned my lesson on overbuying those things in the past, that only buy it when you have a purpose. But back in my broke artist days, I would buy frames. If Martin's had frames that were cute, that were like good quality on sale, I would just scarf them up. I would buy tons of them. But then you gotta have a place to store them. If you don't have a dry, clean place to store frames, they will not last. They will get scratched and scuffed and dinged, and it's just not worth it. So anyway, I used a frame that I probably bought. It was way before YouTube, because it was back when I was doing custom framing for like kind of a side hustle. I had the frame had like the print in it, the backing was gross, the backing board was gross, but I mean, it was like a wood and glass, so I was able to clean it up and I used that. And it worked out actually pretty good. I went through my matting. I'm like, I'm going to take the first color that will work. I'm not going to be digging for the perfect anything. We're going to take the first thing that will work. I found this like plum colored mat. It was perfect for this like kind of orange and purple and a yellow scary scene print. I think the guy's name is Craig Chadbourne, the artist. I'll put it in the video description. But anyway, I framed it, and the prints were sold for charity, so that was kind of cool. So anyways, I got that matted up and I hung it on the wall, so when my husband came home, he was surprised because he didn't know I found it, because like as far as he knew, I had lost it. So so that was kind of cool. So my holiday, my Halloween / fall decorating is now complete. It's very minimalist, but I found that and got it framed, and I realized it reminded me how much I dislike framing. But then it also reminded me that I have some other things to frame that I bought frames for. I bought a couple frames a couple of years ago. It was probably like 3 or 4 years ago. I took a class on painting the figure in watercolor, and we worked all from our own photographs, and I did a couple portraits of my daughters, and I bought the frames to hang them. I actually did a portrait of my son too, but yeah, he doesn't want that framed. That's fine. But I did a couple of my daughters that I really liked, and I bought frames for them, and they're still sitting in the room of hoard, so I'm thinking I really need to frame them. Of course, I would go through and find the perfect matting, and I just didn't have it in me yesterday. I'm like, I'm done with this framing portion of my day. And it just takes so much longer when you're not set up, because before, when I did framing as kind of like a part-time side hustle, I had this room didn't exist. This was just all open, unfinished basement. And I had a big pool table, and I had a couple hall corridors over the pool table, and I had a big sheet of cutting mat on it, and also a big sheet of foam core, which you want to, when you're cutting your mats, you want to work on like foam core, because a cutting mat's too dense and it won't let your cutter glide. Anyway, when you're set up for that, it's so much easier. And when you have this humongous table, it's so much easier to do your framing. And I was working in the 1-door table in the room of hoard, not a 2-door pool table. And it just took longer. I got it done. It was fine. I was kind of in a puttery mood yesterday, and it was good to find that and get it done. But anyway, yeah, I came across the portraits that I did of my daughters in that class, and I'm like, oh, those were actually not crappy, and I should frame them. So I guess it's good to go through all your junk once in a while. I was also, when I was going through to find mat board, and I stored it pretty well. I mean, we are in an unfinished basement down here for my business. My business takes up about half of the basement. And eventually, when the kids are out, when the girls have 2 more years of college after this year, so when the girls are completely moved out, Jason and I will move out of the addition. That's where master bedroom is now. And then I'll have that for a studio. That was the original plan. That would be my studio once the kids all moved out. And I'm telling you, it's going to be really interesting to go through all that stuff because not everything is going to make it. Not everything is going to make the moves. Some things will just not be good enough to make the move because like I was noticing with my mat boards, even though I have it stored, like I have like those big under rolly bed plastic storage things that I took the lids off and I have the mat board kind of standing in those, kind of leaned up against the wall, but I have a big piece of plexiglass behind it so it's not actually touching the cement walls. But still, like the bottom of those mat boards, I'm seeing discoloration on them from, I mean, it must be wicking up moisture even though it's not even standing on the floor. It's in a plastic tote. It's just not, it's not going to hold up. Like what I was talking about, the paper sizing, watercolor paper sizing, and how like I don't store my really expensive watercolor papers in the basement. They're under my bed upstairs in the addition because they just wouldn't make it. They wouldn't make it. You have to use them up with a certain amount of time in order for them to last. So far my canvases I think are all right. They're all, I do go through canvases quite a bit, so if I'm teaching classes or the kids will take them, you know, they do get rotated fairly frequently. But yeah, that's going to be interesting to like move everything out because I don't want to sprawl. When I'm finally up in the addition for my studio, I do not want to have like backup storage because I sprawl. I am a goldfish and I will take up the amount of space that I have available to me. And I don't want to do that. I need confined areas. Otherwise, I do sprawl. Like having the filming room, it was very weird to have the filming room and then the room of hoard because I kind of wanted all my stuff in one place, but I couldn't do all my stuff in one place or I would have to bring in supplies every single time I did a project. And that was inconvenient. And also, if this room is completely empty, the echo was too bad. And you need stuff in a room to deaden the sound for filming. So I have some quilts that I made hung up. I have a quilt my mother made hung up. I've got supplies here and there. I got baskets of yarn to kind of like grab some of the sound and keep it from bouncing around. But it's still not perfect. The sound quality is better in the room of hoard because of the hoard of stuff. It'll be interesting to see how filming is upstairs. But I think when I have all my stuff up there, it'll probably be fine. Anyway, I have a bunch of like the cubbies, the crop and style cubbies. They're like the Jet Max. I think they're called Jet Max that Michael sells, but they're like the 14 by 14 cubes. They're perfect for like paper storage and all sorts of art supply storage. They're over there. They're on a false floor that has like the, it's like plywood, but underneath it's got like plastic divots, plastic bumps that keep a space between the cement and the plywood. So hopefully all of that will be fine. I would be sad if those didn't if I couldn't move those up if they were damaged, but I think they're all right. Maybe the bottom layer might need a little sand and prime, but hopefully it'll be good. Oh, I tried a new product because you guys are always like, Lindsay, what'd you do to your hair? What'd you do to your face? Like, what'd you do to your face, girl? It is not right. So people ask what I use for things, and I tried it because I was kind of like, I'm really due to color my hair, but I don't want to. I kind of like the dark, this is weird. I kind of like the dark roots because it's like, it's proof that my hair is not gray yet, for one. Let's be vain for a moment. But also, it's kind of proof that it was just summer and I was in the sun and my hair's all bleached out and it just feels like, yes, summer existed. I need to be reminded that summer existed as we're into these cold days and short days that make me so very sad. It's like I love that proof that, yes, summer existed and I was out in the weather. Even though that's not all sun bleach, but I didn't want a really harsh, from dark blonde, which almost, I swear, you know, when you've got bright, white blonde hair, kind of contrasted with dirty blonde hair, just like, you know, I hate that name, dirty blonde. It's like, I have the most unattractive natural hair color. It's dirty blonde. It's dark blonde. I've always hated that. I've been coloring my hair since I was 16, various shades, because I just do not like my natural hair color. But I kind of want it to merge. I want it to blend from kind of like ombre, from the root color, which you can see in all its glory, to the the ends, which are light, but I don't want the ends to be super light. So I got this product called La Color Gloss. Oh my gosh, we're almost out of time. It's called La Color Gloss, and I was looking for a glossing treatment because my hair was just looking so dull and lifeless. I think it looks all right now. It was looking so dull and lifeless. I'm like, oh, it just looks so crispy. I look like a scarecrow. It is cold. It is fall. I am so sad. I need to do something. I need to pick me up. So I was scrolling around, and I was on my phone, and I was looking at glossing treatments, and usually a glossing treatment is like a clear, it's almost like a clear hair dye. It's like the developer with, or it might have a little bit of toner in it. If your hair's looking brassy, you might have a little, you can get it with like a purple or a blue, or you could get it with a color in it. But basically it's just there to like kind of coat your strands and make them shiny. And that's what I was going to do. But then I was seeing this product called La Color Gloss, and this is, I'm not sponsored. Clearly, I don't think any of these brands would reach out to me and try to be associated with me. But anyway, I was going to just do either the cool blonde or the clear. But there's a thing where you could upload a picture and you could see how the glosses will look on your hair. And so I was like, well, I don't really like the cool blonde. That's just too colorless. It looks too gray. I want more life and color. I want it a little warmer. And then I was looking at clear. I'm like, yeah, clear doesn't really look like anything. As Judy B. Jones would say, the color of spit. I use clear nail polish, which is the color of spit. It's like, I don't want the color of spit in my hair. And so then there was like a champagne. I'm like, oh, that pink actually does look kind of cute, but I don't feel like I am in the pink hair stage of life. So I'm like, I don't want pink. But then I saw honey blonde, and I'm like, ooh, I kind of like that. It's a little bit warm. But then I'm like, ooh, is it going to be too yellow? I like the way it looked. I like the preview of it. So I put it in my hair. I followed the directions, kind of. I followed the directions, and it said, if your hair is naturally blonde, leave it on for like 10 to 15 minutes. If your hair is color treated, leave it on for 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm like, well, you know what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna leave it on longer because I want a more dramatic impact. And she was a little yellow afterwards, and I was like, ooh, I don't know about this, but it was shiny and it was glossy and I liked it, and my husband liked it, and the kids said it looks good. But I've been using ash blonde has been so popular for like the last couple years that it's like you want no warmth in your hair whatsoever. But I'm like, I kind of do want the warmth in my hair. I've washed it once since I did the glossing, and I kind of like this. I like this warmth because it's not brassy, but it is warm. Anyway, La Color Gloss, it was easy. It's basically like a conditioning mask, basically. So you don't have to do any like mixing. There's no damage to your hair whatsoever. I just wanted to recommend that in case you were feeling like you just need to pick me up. You're feeling dull and lifeless. It's vegan. It's cruelty-free. I'll link it down below. But there's different colors. Obviously, upload a picture. I don't think it works on the website, but if you do it on your phone, you can take a selfie or upload a picture and see what it's going to look like on your hair, which is very helpful because I never would have tried the honey blonde otherwise. I would have been like, ooh, that's going to be way too brassy. But I'm a brassy broad, so I can deal with a little bit of brass. So, yeah. I like it. You can let me, well, no, you know what? Don't let me know. Don't let me know what you think, because there'll be so many people who are like, Lindsay, I don't like that. You need to do something else. And I don't want to hear it. My fall-time mental state is too fragile. I have a hard time with the loss of summer. I feel like I'm mourning it. But, in the grand scheme of things, it's really not a big deal. It's not anything to really be upset about. Because there are things in the world to be upset about, and let's just try to leave our cares behind and enjoy a little bit of time on a Saturday morning, shall we? Anyway, everything I've talked about I'll try to remember and link down below, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye!